Hey guys, so Victoria wants to know what happens if one of your close friends is now dating a very annoying partner. Well, Victoria, how much do you value that friendship? So before we continue, I do want to say this has nothing to do with abusive relationships. That's a completely different topic. This is pertaining to cases where the person's partner is just quite frankly annoying. They may make rude comments, they may just not be suited for your group whatsoever, and not in the bullying you don't belong way, but just they do not belong. They aggravate everyone. And at times they can also be a little bit controlling. They might be controlling your friend and restricting what they can and can't do. You might even notice your friend is having less fun when they're around their partner. And so the question again comes down to how much do you value that friendship? If this is a friendship where, the person's more of an acquaintance, and you really can't stand their partner, it's a thing where you might just not invite them places. You might just hope, the relationship kind of fizzles out and they see what you see and you just don't really invite them. But I feel like if you're going to ask this question, and if you've been in situations like I have where you've, lived through this, for anyone watching, this is not just an acquaintance, this is normally a good friend. And there's a few ways that you can deal with this. First of all, try to get along with this person, see what makes them tick, sit them down, get to know them. A lot of people put up this really weird, kind of mask when they meet a bunch of their partners, like friends, for the first time, because they're nervous, they're trying to fit in, and they might be overdoing it. So by you actually sitting them down and talking to them and trying to learn more about them, sometimes you find that they're actually really cool after all. They're not really a bad person. And by you making that breakthrough, you can be the person to let others in your friend group know this so that people accept that person. But sometimes, they're just a rude individual and you have to kind of deal with that. So in that case, usually what I do is look at their times. A lot of times couples will have different work schedules, or they might have different activities going on, where you might notice that at certain days or certain times, one of them can do things and the other cannot. And in a situation like that, it's wonderful. Make sure to arrange things at times when your friend is free and that person, their partner, is not free. So make sure, you have a couple of events where they both could come. It's a matter of if they do come, but they both could come. But a lot of times arrange things where, the partner 100% is not going to be able to show up. And that way you have fun. Even, send the partner an invite and be like, oh, I'm sorry you have to work. But, if you do get off work, feel free to attend, and that keeps the peace. But that's more something you do for, a very new relationship. If you're talking about a serious relationship, especially when you're getting to engagements and marriage, if they have kids, that's not something you can really do for too long, just not inviting that person. Something more has got to be done. And in that case, it's usually time for someone in your friend group to sit down with your friend. And for that, I recommend, one of the people who's closest to that friend, who they would consider like a best friend. They hang out all the time anyway. Someone like that needs to be the person who do the talking. It also needs to be someone with tact. You don't want to have someone from your friend group who's going to get walked all over to do the talking, because nothing's going to get accomplished. And if anything happens, it's probably going to be your friend getting mad that the topic was even brought up. On the other end, though, you don't want the really brash friend to be going there, because they're going to be calling that partner names and they're going to say things that don't need to be said. And that's just going to create a very hostile situation that could have been avoided. And that's also going to amp up, that friend and their partner. How dare you say my partner's rude when you're coming in my house like this, or you're coming to this restaurant like this. So you want someone who's a close person to your friend. You want someone with a lot of tact to just sit them down and say, hey, some people are having problems with whatever the person's name is. Here's some examples of things they've done that aren't cool. Is there any way you can resolve this? Because some people don't really want him or her around anymore, and that's a problem because we want you around and we want you to be happy. So then it goes in your friend's court, and a lot of times they will sit down with that person. They want to keep the peace between who they love and their friends, and they'll sit them down and talk to them. And a lot of times things do get resolved. sometimes nothing changes, you know, especially once you're an adult, people are kind of stuck in their ways. If Rudy, Mr. or Mrs. McRude Pants continues being rude, you know, that's when you kind of just have to go to the first two suggestions that I had. Either, you know, try to make sure that partner can attend certain events when you throw events, or you're just gonna stop inviting them both. And sometimes that happens, but hey. So again, you know, it's a tricky situation when something like that happens. I'm sorry that's happening to you, Victoria. I've had that happen in my group of friends with several people. You know, sometimes things get resolved and everyone's happy. Sometimes that relationship splits, and when that happens, your friend usually can admit, you know, how negative that partner used to be. But there have been times as well where, you know, distance just happens, and a lot of times it's because that animosity is building bigger and bigger, and either the partner, if they're controlling, puts their foot down and says you can't hang out with these friends anymore, or it's just everyone in your friend group saying we're tired of this, and they stop sending invites to both members of the couple. But I hope this helps you out in some way, Victoria, and I hope things get better between you and your friend and their partner. Again, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to submit questions to theangiechew.net/contact, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!